Yeah, so I'm posted up on Main Street of the Delta's most popular new tourist site. Well, it's just what the vision is. Because Pine Bluff, a city once labeled the fastest shrinking in America, is now poised for a comeback story. See, in the 18 and early 1900s, this city was thriving, especially for African Americans. Black families ran banks, owned businesses, and lived in luxury. So much so, in 1899, W.E.B. Du Bois ranked Pine Bluff fourth in the nation for black wealth. To be clear, there was still racial tensions and violence, but the city was alive with possibilities. But decades of systemic oppression, economic neglect, and corruption turned that promise into decline. Both brain drain and crime increases, the city got typecast, written off, and ignored. But now, something is stirring. A new wave of entrepreneurs, storytellers, and community builders is taking action.
You won't find an area that'll give you more story just in terms of the context around this.
Now, politics are always involved, but wishful thinking isn't. This means resources are needed, and in particular, money. But with folks tripling down on their commitment and vision, this is definitely a city on the brink of bold change. It's modern day Pine Bluff. Let's get into it. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Pine Bluff is also my hometown. I'm a proud zebra, got baptized at Barracuda Street Church, and used to hit up hella local spots. And although my hairline ain't standing like it used to, my old barber spot, Pops, is. Matter of fact, they're part of the burgeoning new community of entrepreneurs growing and building. And as the day rolled on, it was time for me to holler at one more. Joni Alexander Robinson, owner of the Najee Boutique. My self-care game is decent, but can always be upgraded. So.
Do you get facials?
No, so that's like a decent
that's
part.
Not decent.
That's not decent.
What's
so like,
below decent?
I guess
that's
me.
Where you are.
That's where I am. After she convinced me to step my skincare game up, the tour continued. Joni, who was Pine Bluff born and bred, moved to the Baltimore, Maryland area before eventually settling in Seoul, Korea. There she was impacted by a positive cultural experience, which influenced the mindset that she eventually brought back to Pine Bluff. And when you got here, the idea and the aesthetic, because it's a beautiful spot, like where did that come from and why'd you want to bring that to Pine Bluff?
Because it's not here. And I know, like me, when I walk into places that look good and feel good aesthetically, it like inspires me not only to patronize it, but to even step my game up, you know? And I would love for like young ladies to come in here and be inspired to even create something that looks better and feels better than this in any of their fields.
One thing I learned quickly about Joni is she works hard to elevate all she cares about. Whether it's opening her own physical shop, going back and forth with Korean chemists for beauty products, or adamantly standing up for entrepreneurs in Pine Bluff, I want to know what drives her so much.
Yeah, freedom.
Freedom.
I feel like I'm a creative person. I feel like entrepreneurship can be freedom from bureaucracy and code switching, especially for Black people. I don't think people understand how heavy that is to exist in those environments where people don't even understand how you kind of have to leave yourself at your front door and come out into the world every day. I feel like the business introduces us to people and our culture to people in a less offensive way. You know, I feel like it opens up a space to inspire others for that freedom. And then also for me, I'm in a position where I fight a lot of powerful people. I do a lot of things to disrupt some rooms that's usually not disrupted. So freedom for me is also safety.
Part of the reason and the power in entrepreneurship and like cosmetology or some of the things that get overlooked is not just the business, but also the creation of community and safe spaces that aren't in other fields.
Yeah, it's a part of our foundation, and it's one of those sectors in the Black community that has not been attacked yet. Our churches have been attacked, our Divine Nine fraternities and organizations have been attacked, our organizations like NAACPs have been attacked, but nobody has really come in and dismantled that cosmetology industry for Black people, which lets me know that people don't even understand like how much of a gold mine it is for Black culture and community.
We gotta hide this interview from the feds.
Yeah, don't show this part.
I appreciate you sharing that. That's what's up. But what we can talk about is Pine Bluff's new Delta Wellness and Blues Cultural Plaza. It's an initial phase of an expansive multi-million-dollar project rooted in downtown Pine Bluff. It's a location meant to speak to Pine Bluff's rich history and legacy while actively attracting tourists and those who will spend a couple of coins in the city.
The beauty of where we are right now If you want to know about the roots of blues, on this block, I can stand in one spot and show you more elements of where the blues comes from in relationship to buildings that are pieces of the blues history and the important threads of not only the musical blues, but the social blues. This is hallowed ground.
So I had to speak to one of the biggest advocates of the project, Jimmy Cunningham. And although this project is part of his job, I still want to know why it means so much to him.
When I started to look at Pine Bluff and I started to see how this city had lost its story and how other people had then taken the story to call this place Crime Bluff and to put a negative branding behind it and to say it was so bad on so many ways. And the worst part of it was that not only were the outsiders saying it about the community, but many of the insiders were believing it. Some of them had not come out of an era where they'd seen anything but economic decline. And so I started to do this research on the city, and I found a city that had a wellspring of story and narrative that was powerful and restorative. If people could see what they went through to create the genius, then maybe they could understand it could be done over again.
Now, if anyone were to know about the citizens of Pine Bluff thriving despite the difficulties, it's gotta be Jimmy. Why? Well, he kinda sorta wrote the book on it, literally. His book shares powerful accounts, stories, and images of the people of the predominantly black city of Pine Bluff in the 18 and 1900s. Now that's great and all, but a high number of Alice households exist in Pine Bluff. Alice, that means asset limited, income constrained, employed, and is the people living above the poverty line but still struggling to make ends meet. In Jefferson County, where Pine Bluff is located, this number included with the impoverished is 56% of the population, and that's compared to the already high state percentage of 44%. So I had to ask Jimmy if sharing these stories will actually bring money into the city and the people who need it.
It definitely brings dollars. If you look at some of the places around that have really had big success with blues heritage tourism, one example is Clarksdale, Mississippi. What Clarksdale has done is they have marketed themselves as the epicenter so that people make a holy pilgrimage to Clarksdale to honor the blues greats there. And then throughout Mississippi, they go and visit other places and other spaces. There are markets out there. There are niche audiences that will go from Japan to see what they want to see when it comes to any kind of history, blues history or otherwise. The great thing that we have here, as I mentioned before, we're not a one-trick pony, is that converging in the cultural district here in Pine Bluff, we have civil rights history, we have blues history, we have Civil War history, we have Trail of Tears history, we have cinematic history. And so what we have to do is to build out interpretive spaces that will help bring those stories to life. And in fact, we're sitting in the lap of one of the interpretive spaces, the Blues and Wellness Plaza.
A lot of people know Pine Bluff used to be one of the standards in Arkansas. Mm-hmm. People used to look to us as the blueprint of a successful city. But for black people, it's a different story. Way in 1899. So, we're fresh out of slavery. We've had a few decades to get some things together. But in Pine Bluff, we were one of the top 4 black meccas in the United States of America. This is how black communities need to model themselves to be successful. These black people basically have their own economy, their own educational institution, which was Branch Normal College, which is now UAPB. And we were in the top 4 with cities like Charlotte and Atlanta. So how are those 2 places still doing good, and Pine Bluff is now one of the fastest shrinking cities in the United States of America?
In 1899, sociologist, historian, and civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois conducted research on black wealth in the nation, in which Pine Bluff was ranked 4th. The 1899 project was formed to help restore and return Pine Bluff back to a prosperous cultural city. Joni is not only a leader within the 1899 project, but is also the president CEO of Pine Bluff Black Chamber of Commerce. Her and many others have efforts to bring money to the city through entrepreneurship. In conjunction, Other residents are making sure that the wealth of the local collective spirit is also employed. To learn more about that, I couldn't think of anybody better to holler at than my folks OB at the GSC Community Gardens. For sure, man. Gotta ask first, like, how did it all come together?
Man, about 2017, it's like a culmination of just doing different community work, community cleanups, what we were doing. So this is one of the lots that we cleaned up. A lot of trash, the liquor store is like right up the street, so you can just imagine.
Oh, so this was all just a lot?
Yeah, this was an abandoned residential lot. And we just cleaned it up, man, and transformed, over time, man, so.
And you said we, like who is we?
There's a small collective of us, man, about 5 or 6 of us as GSC Gardens who committed, since like 2017 to keep the grounds and stuff cut and planting, harvesting, those type of things. So.
But even before the garden, was it the same group of people, or how did y'all first come together to just like clean up the neighborhood?
Oh, pretty same group of people. Yeah, same group of people, man. About 2014, 2015, we set out to start doing community cleanups, man, and just hitting different parts of this town.
Yeah.
And this was like one of ours.
Is there a particular part of your story where it was like that transition? Because you mentioned it was like, I was on this mode to this mode. Was it like a particular thing that where it like clicked and changed for you? Or was it just a progression?
On the real, man, really it's like I started having children, man. And it just upped my level of responsibility. Like what type of person do I want to be for my children? What type of man do I want to be? How I represented myself in this world is going to be a reflection on them. So it just made me question a lot of the stuff that I was involved in and where I wanted to go. So it's just, observing what was going on in the community, man. I see a lot of people, going through it. So I'm like, why?
Right.
Asking them questions, and it's like seeking out solutions. So
that's dope how you low-key just made this a pro-parenting PSA. You know what I'm saying? Final question for you, man. If Pine Bluff was thriving the way you wanted it to be, the way it should be, what would that look like to you?
Oh, man.
A thriving Pine Bluff would be a place of refuge for Black people, a place of safety for Black people, a place of familiarity for Black people.
It would be packed with businesses up, down, left, and right, teeming with tourists from as far as Japan to Belgium to Brazil.
Understanding the history of Pine Bluff will also give you a different appreciation for what we have and where we're going as a city. So,
Pine Bluff, Arkansas, a city once destined for a profound and powerful legacy, seems to be on track once again. Till next time.
Yeah.